The next session, they get a handout. The handout basically takes Albert Ellis's 11 irrational ideas of the world. You all know those? Very good. And I say to them, you know, your homework is read the front, which is the dry definition of an irrational thought. And the back is the 11 irrational ideas, according to Albert Ellis. I say, you know, read them. You say to yourself, yeah, I thought that once or twice, no problem. We all have. If you sit there and go, irrational? This is irrational? Circle it. We need to talk about it. But now they're into the whole idea because of the story that, okay, it's interesting. They'll circle it. And because it involves circling things very easily, I get the homework done. Make your homework with cops very short, if you can, or very enjoyable, like a wish list, one of the two. And we have that information either for the next session or for future sessions. The next teaching session I do for cognitive theory, because I've only done anger. I got to get depression in, I got to get anxiety in, and I got to get guilt in. So I have my 4 big emotions. I also will talk to the cops and teach them. I say, you know, there are a lot of different ways of looking at feelings. If you go on the internet, you can get these feeling adjective checklists with 772 nuanced, you know, emotion words, and very difficult to go over a list like that. And also, it doesn't seem to have any desire for a cop to talk about every nuanced word that would describe a feeling. It's tough enough that they want to talk about feelings as it is. So I say I do feelings on continuum. You know, you got your depressive continuum, where anywhere from upset, very upset, blue, down in the dumps, depressed, very depressed, suicidal. And I do the same thing for anger, for anxiety, for guilt. And once we talk about that, they have their continuum. And the next session, I do my next teaching tale. And I call it the Smith Haven parking lot story. Now, if you don't live in Long Island, you probably don't know what the Smith Haven Mall is, and it doesn't matter. You can use whatever mall you like or any place that has a parking lot. And I say, today we're going to kind of take a look, because you like the idea of knowing what the beliefs are behind anger, because it gives you a sense of control, knowing exactly where that emotion came from. Today, what our goal is going to be is we're going to talk about the beliefs behind anger again, reinforce it, okay. But we're also going to talk about the beliefs behind anxiety. There are 2. I'm not telling you that, I'm telling them that. They find it very, they're 2. Yeah, 2, all anxiety, two beliefs. Isn't that neat? That's neat. And then we're going to talk about the beliefs behind depression. There are 3. 3? Only 3 beliefs behind depression. Ooh, that's pretty good. And we're going to talk about the beliefs behind guilt. 2. So hopefully you're capturing their interest. They're into this self-empowerment, this emotional muscle building. And say, okay, we're going to imagine this. We're going to take a look, and we're also going to take a look at why it isn't the things that happen to you. It's how you're handling it with your beliefs. It's not what happens. We're back to the A. The A doesn't cause the C. Your beliefs cause your emotions. So now, Smith Haven parking lot, just humor me, it's a mall. You'll figure it out. I say, okay, so let's do something. Let's pretend we're at the Smith Haven Mall, and let's picture Macy's. You know, kind of it's over there. And, you know, parking lot, you kind of have your slots for the cars. You have your roadway up and down. And I want you to imagine that for whatever reason, you're in a car parked in a stall in front of the Macy's. By all accounts, the reasonable man, always, you know, reasonable man concept, familiar with that? Okay. Look at you, Dave. Reasonable man. Always put some police jargon in there. The reasonable man would measure the car equidistantly and say, that car is reasonably parked. No one could fault how well that car is parked. Now, I'm going to say that somebody comes out of Macy's, they get in their car, they back it up. We don't know why. We don't necessarily care why. But they back up wrong and end up clipping and cracking your left rear taillight. You're a cop. You've patrolled that area in the 4th. Over the last 10 years, could we say that an accident like that has happened 100 times? Okay. We are interested only in the person who's sitting in the perfectly or reasonably parked car. Forget the moving car that did the damage. We're going to take a look only at the person in the reasonably parked car. Now, one of the things, again, I'll put my oddities in there, the things I use. I have a life-size cardboard cutout of James T. Kirk in my office. Okay? Anyone know who James T. Kirk is? Anyone know what the T stands for? Oh, okay, very good. I like it. You'll help me out with this story, okay, as we go. So now I say to the cops, I say, okay, we're going to call up Lieutenant Montgomery Scott, and we're going to have him beam to this office that we're in 100 people. We're going to ask him to use the computer to select. We want the most different people he can. We're going to want people who are old and young, male and female. We're going to want all of the different, whites, Hispanics, African American, Jewish. We want a diverse group as we can get beamed to my office. And they're going to be so different, we're going to get as close as we can for them to have only one thing in common, if we could do that, but we can try. And that is, while sitting in a almost perfectly parked car, and through no fault of their own, somebody backed into them and cracked their left rear taillight. That's the A. That's like the poking on the elevator. So you've been in law enforcement a long time. You have seen many people in situations, so don't tell me how you would feel. Tell me what you think you would observe when I ask this question. Would all 100 people have the same exact emotional response? Quick answer, no. So now, again, repetition. If they don't all have the same emotional response, but they all had their left rear tail light clipped, it's not the thing that created the emotion. It's got to be something else. Time constraint. I'll do anger real quick. You say, okay, somebody gets out of the car. You see the angry guy? The angry guy gets out of the car. I shouldn't have done this. I can't stand it. He did it on purpose, yada, yada. There's a fight. So then, because they're not necessarily as good at ferreting out the beliefs, I found that if I give them the belief, they'll give me the emotion. Okay, so somebody gets out of the car. I'll even tell them we could be a little sex role stereotyped, and a woman gets, oh, my husband is going to kill me when I get home. What's that person feeling? They'll say fear, anxiety. Wow, look at the thoughts or the beliefs they're having there. Something bad is going to happen, and I'm not going to be able to handle it. Those are your two thoughts behind all anxiety. Person gets out of the car. Yeah, look at that. Well, what should I expect anything different? It's my life, I can't have anything good in my life. Everything goes wrong for me. I don't know why I'd think anything different. I mean, yep, my life is poopy, and it's always going to be, and that's kind of the way it is. What are they feeling? And the cop knows. They're feeling depressed. I'll ham it up a little bit. I'll make it a little different. I'll say, hey, let's watch this. Guy goes over to his buddy's house and says, wow, you finished restoring that Model T Ford? My God, did that take you years and lots of money. Can I try it? I just wanted to bring it up to the mall and park it a little bit. And all of a sudden, they realize as the Model T Ford has it, oh, I can't believe what I did. Oh, boy, I am such an idiot. I am such a worm. I am pond slime. Jonathan Cleese, I love that. What is that person feeling? Guilt, okay? Go back to depression. I say, do you see what the person's thinking with depression? I mean, I will often, again, hamming up, say, technically, they're taking a negative view of current life situation, an overalized, generalized negative view of future life events, and viewing themselves as powerless to alter the course of these events. And I say, you know what that means? And I go, what? I go, the person's thinking life shits, life is always gonna shit, and I can't do anything about it. Those are your three thoughts behind depression. The person who's having guilt, is taking a look and they're saying two thoughts. I did something wrong, which in and of itself, maybe they didn't. That could be a bad belief in and of itself. But even if they did something wrong, are they really a bad person? Are they really a worm? Are they really pond slime for that? So now, just to think about, I've always wanted to try this and tell a group of either students and professionals at the script level. That's exactly what I say to teach cognitive theory. And I've worked this out over the years because this is a method of teaching, including the actual stories, that I find works very well with police officers. And those are how I teach the ABCs.